Alrighty, we're gonna go ahead and move on to a new segment that we're gonna be introducing here on PWF Empire Live. This is Buy or Sell. And the first topic we have on deck, Nikki Bella's rant on Total Divas. I thought that this, Nikki Bella's rant on anti-Divas. So kind of the opposite of what you would get on Total Divas. So we're watching Monday Night Raw and we see a match
Isn't the person she ranted on Total Divas?
Yeah.
Okay, that's Exhibit A. Thank you very much.
Bam, there you go. But we'll fucking get there. So Nikki Bella, she's at ringside with Brie, and she's watching a match between Alicia Fox and Paige, and out of nowhere, she breaks into this tirade on anti-divas, and here are her comments. How many girls are we going to have come in and want to be an anti-diva, but they sit there with fake eyelashes, pounds of makeup on, and get ready just like everyone else? And she actually went on to talk about how it's people like Nikki who are ridiculed for being different because they're frilly and they wear dresses, and they talk about how the anti-divas want to make people dislike them because they're different. And then she proceeded to go on and make fun of Paige because of her pale skin color and spray tan her. But, you know, that's beside the point. Are you buying or selling Nikki Bella exposing the myth of anti-divas in WWE?
Bought it. Yeah, buying the hell out of this. And it's really not really the fault of the performers that she's ranting on. It's kind of the company that they... I think that we especially saw Paige as that person in NXT, but, you know, when she came up, she just falls in line. She's a diva now, and that's it. And AJ's the same way, no matter how much AJ doesn't want to admit it. You know, I think that, you know, it's just something the WWE Divas division is. The WWE Divas division has no creative backing, doesn't get any time, and so they are all just girls. And the idea that one of them's different is not the case. It's that simple.
Yeah, I bought the hell out of it too. No question. I actually thought that was something that really stuck out. I didn't even think to mention it in my own personal review that I did of Raw this week. But honestly, it really did stick out. That's something that I was like, wow, that's an impressive thing, not only from the Bellas, but just in general to actually hear, because the truth is, Paige has not, I mean, anything she did exhibit that could have been anti-diva was in the past in NXT. Nothing she's done since her, main roster call-up has been what I would consider anti-diva. If anything, she's using her sexuality in her gimmick right now by, licking people and whatnot. So, if anything, she's being this just a more, risque version of some of the current divas. The only anti-divas you've ever seen are like Awesome Kong and like, China. Those are anti-divas.
Yes,
they don't.
That's what I'm talking about. If you aren't coming in here looking like Nicole Bass,
I'm
Karma,
so done
China,
with China,
sit your ass down. You are not an anti-diva.
Exactly, and like Awesome Kong really fits that bill, right now. She's always been a favorite of mine, and I'm glad to see her back on TV, even if it is TNA instead of WWE.
Officially the best thing on TNA again.
Yeah, and I mean, but that's what I consider to be an anti-diva, not just somebody who's big, but I mean, like, when's there going to be even just a regular-sized girl who doesn't wear any makeup, has messy hair, comes to the ring and just fucking wants to fight? Where is that? Like, I used to think of that girl, Roxy, who wrestled for TNA at times and around this area, actually. I know
Jay has a beef with Roxy.
Yeah, okay, but hear me out on that.
We'll tell you later. It's a good story.
Okay, but I look at it as she kind of reminds me of like more of an anti-diva in the way that she kind of just wants to come to the ring and fight. She ain't about the looks, is what I mean by that. But, whenever you're going to see more of those kind of girls who just come into the ring and don't give a damn about their ass, and just want to fucking wrestle, you want to see more of that going forward. And I know I want to see more of that going forward, where it's not just about the sexuality. And I mean, I will say, to kind of plug that podcast one more time, Triple H did seem to have a lot more respect for divas than Vince does.
And I didn't even think about the whole Paige angle that you brought up with her incorporating sexuality into the way that she wrestles, and when she goes for the pinfalls and she's basically straddling her opponent. I didn't even think about that, but that kind of plays into what I wanted to say about AJ also. And by the way, I'm buying the hell out of this because I've been attempting to say this for the longest time. And I think the thing is, people get caught up in lip service a lot. They would rather hear you say something is different rather than you show them that you are different. Because we have someone like AJ going out there talking about how she's anti-diva and cutting these promos talking about how sexuality isn't sexually transmitted, but shit, you could have fooled me. You actually did fool a whole hell of a lot of the WWE fans into thinking that you didn't get your start in WWE. You didn't become popular by being thrown into romance angles with half the damn main event roster. You kind of fooled
Kane.
Yeah, and Kane. So, but yeah, you had Danny Bryan, CM Punk, Kane, John Cena, Dolph Ziggler, Hornswoggle, Primo.
Not going to put him in the main event either.
But, you know, we're just throwing out all of those names there. But then you have Paige out there also. And hell, she is on Total Divas. Any credit that you had into going for you being an anti-diva, it was traded in when you signed that damn contract for you to appear on that show. Now, that's not necessarily
making out with Rosa Mendez on Total Divas.
That's not necessarily saying that it's a bad thing. Like, I'm not looking at Paige like, oh, you're terrible, you're a hypocrite now. But I just don't like this thing where you have people like AJ and Paige, they're put on a perch in the Divas division and we ignore everyone else because they're just so awesome and they're so amazing and they're anti-divas. Like, get the hell out of here with that mess. Like, you're not.
It's just a buzzword.
Good on you, Nikki.
At this point, it's just a buzzword. It's like a lot of things in wrestling now. It's almost like, you know, I'm not even gonna get into this, but it's like them, you know, always referring to Dean Ambrose as the lunatic fringe. Like it's like they are pounding it home that he is out of his mind, when instead of doing that, what they should be doing more is making you actually believe he's out of his mind. I mean, I'm not saying he doesn't do a fairly good job at times. He does. But again, they put the focus so much on like, oh my god, he's crazy, oh my god, he's crazy, oh my god, he's crazy, when there's guys like Pillman who came around and they just fucking were. They just were crazy, you know? And that's the thing. Like, Dean Ambrose does have that you know, special ability to portray himself as being out of his mind, don't get me wrong, but I just feel like they kind of force that down your throat and it becomes a buzzword. So that's how I look at the anti-diva thing. Like, now, anybody who looks a little bit different or acts a little bit different or is more about wrestling is an anti-diva. Like, to me, Natalya is a little bit more of an anti-diva, or was at least before she started coming out and, you know, dresses every week and is accompanying Tyson Kidd all the time. But I'm saying, like, when she was just wrestling straight up, like, her and Beth Phoenix are more anti-diva to me than a Paige is. They use their sexuality a lot less often than say, a Paige or an AJ Lee.